That time, Michael Jackson quit the Jackson 5 mid-concert. Following the best-selling album Thriller in 1982 and the Jackson 5 reunion at Motown 25 a year later, Joe Jackson and his sons saw dollar signs. So they petitioned Michael with the Jackson 5 album, followed by a world tour that would for the first time feature all 6 brothers, because even Jermaine Jackson, who hadn't performed with the group since the 70s, couldn't resist the potential bag that was to be made. And it was an immediate no for Michael. Thriller was still dominating the charts, had won a few Grammys, and he hadn't even done a world tour for it yet. It took Mama Jackson pleading with Michael for him to even agree, regretting the commitment before he even finished saying yes. On the 1-year anniversary of Thriller, the Jacksons held a press conference where they announced their Victory album, followed by a massive Victory tour set to begin in July of 1984. And when I say Michael sat in that press conference and didn't mutter a single word, couldn't be more inconvenienced. Michael's contribution to the Victory album was submitting throwaway Thriller tracks. The brothers couldn't get together to photograph any photos, so this is the album cover we got. And Michael refused to show up for the album's only music video, Torture, so a wax figure of him was substituted in. And if that wasn't enough, Pepsi sponsored the tour, which Michael hated because he did not drink Pepsi. He did not like Pepsi. And to prove that, look at this picture he took. He would not agree to the deal unless they agreed with his terms of not holding the product in any way and only appearing in the video for 3 seconds. The commercial resulted in Michael suffering 2nd and 3rd degree burns to his scalp from pyrotechnics 7 months before the tour. And if even that wasn't enough, the ticketing system was shit. A lottery system where you had to purchase a 4-ticket package, no more, no less, send a money order for $120. The seats were allocated, so you don't know if you're sitting in the very first seat or the very last seat. And worst of all, you don't even know if you're getting a seat at all. Once you send your money order, it takes up to 6 weeks for the lottery to be decided on whether you get a ticket or not. And you won't be notified. You just either receive your tickets or a refund within those 6 weeks. Now, this obviously became controversial. For one, the tickets were priced at $28 to $30, and while that is cheap for us today, those were premium prices back then. Second, some people couldn't get over the fact that they had to buy 4 tickets. Like, what if I can only afford or only need 1 ticket? Then the people found out that the reason the lottery system took 6 weeks was because as it was sitting in the Jacksons' bank account, it was accruing interest for the Jacksons. So even once they refunded you your money, they were making money off of that transaction. Fans got so rowdy that Michael, who never talked to the press, did a press conference where he apologized for all the mess and submitted his entire earnings for the tour to a charity. Now, Michael didn't need the money. His brothers did. That's the only reason he did this tour to begin with. But I'm sure he was not excited to do all 55 shows for free. May I remind you that all of this happened before the tour even started. The Victory album came out July 2nd of 1984, and the Victory tour kicked off 4 days later. Each concert was sold out, most of the fans coming to see Michael, and the set list reflected that. Majority of the set list were songs from Thriller. Michael was like, y'all didn't let me do my Thriller World Tour, so we finna do it right here. Jermaine had a few of his solo singles on there, and then the rest were Jackson 5 songs, none of which were from the recent Victory album because Michael refused to do rehearsals with his brother. He did not speak to his brothers in between shows. His hotel room was on another floor than theirs. He flew private while his brothers flew commercial together. The man was fits to be tired. At one point, Michael wanted the publicist fired, and when his brothers refused, he refused to go on stage until she was. Michael was briefly hospitalized from dehydration and stress. Jackie missed a bunch of the earlier shows because his wife ran him over. Check out my Jackson playlist for that tea. It was just chaos and tension. Meanwhile, the tour was doing well. It set the record for the highest grossing tour at that time, each of the Jackson brothers taking home about $7 million minus Michael. So with these type of numbers, the brothers were like, you know what, let's keep this thing going. And they began planning a Europe leg following the last show on the domestic leg. But when Michael heard of this, he had to humble them real quick. Watch their faces in this video.
Listen up.